What's good, chat? So today it is day 10, right? Now, of course, gotta make sure I'm getting these videos out to you guys. No, it's super important. So today, I'm just gonna dive right into it. Today we're going to be talking about breaks and retest. Now, y'all know this is pretty much all I trade, along with like market structure, so forth and so on. But today, like I said, we're going over breaks and retests explain, right? So one thing that we understand in the market is that we have regular market structure, right? So we have higher highs and higher lows, all in the uptrend, and lower lows and lower highs in a downtrend, right? Now, whenever we form structure, this is the perfect ideal opportunity to take advantage of the breaks and retests. So anytime the market typically goes to make a new higher high, typically what it will do is it will break. So this is a break here. So let's highlight this. Price broke this previous high point here. Price broke it. And then what does it do? We understand the market moves in three phases. So this first phase is the impulse break. Second phase is our correction. And our third phase is our continuation, right? So I see money, just like we talked about on the previous days, right? Now, our impulse breaker structure lets us know, okay, we want to go in this direction. Our correction / our retest confirms it, right? So we're coming back to retest this area. Typically, the market likes to come back to retest the previous highs that it broke in an uptrend or a previous low in a downtrend. So in a downtrend example, you can look for a market to come back, break here, come back to retest here, and then catch that sell down, right? Now, of course, yesterday we talked about candlesticks, so this goes hand in hand. Understanding what the candlesticks are telling us gives us an indication, okay, when should we enter on our breaks and retests, right? Now, we're going to dive a little bit more into that on the next couple of days, but like I said, this is just about understanding breaks and retest. So now, typically, you can have, like I said, the market come back and retest the previous breaker structure line. That'll look something like this. Or we can have a situation where, let's just say hypothetically, we had a trend line here. And let's draw it as such. Oops, I'm tripping. So let's say we had a trend line here. The market can come back to retest this previous high point, or it can come back to retest this trend line, whichever the case may be. So that's pretty much all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for breaks and retests all throughout structure. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing super, complex. It's just like plain and simple, right? Break and retest of the previous high or break and retest of this trend line, right? So let's look at an example. So we can see here in this market, this was in a downtrend, forming lower lows and lower high points. What did the market do? The market broke, gave us an impulse. Price came back to retest, aka our correction, and then gave us a continuation. You can see this pulled back to the previous high point that it broke. So this was the last lower high that price broke. So we have a break here. Price came back to retest here. And then this is where you get money. Point blank, period. Like, literally, that's all it is. Break, retest. I never just, remember, like I told y'all, I never just chase the impulse. I never just buy the breakout here. I always wait for the pullback and then look for a continuation. Now, what that looks like on a on a downtrend structure is as such. We can see that if we had a low point, price broke structure and came back to where the previous low that it broke, came back to retest it, and then we got a continuation. So break, retest, continuation. Literally, that is the confirmation for you to take your trade, to understand like where the market is about to head next. Without a break and a retest, no entry. So no retest, no entry, no retest, no entry, no retest, no entry, right? And you can literally find these all throughout the charts. Like I'm on a daily time frame, but if I literally go down to the 1 minute, it does not matter which time frame I'm on. Literally, it's all the same thing, right? So even if I come here in this downtrend structure, we have lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke this previous lower high point here, came back to retest it. Then we got a continuation. Literally, it is that simple, chat. There's nothing, so like I said, super complicated about any of this. It's all about understanding market structure. When you understand market structure in totality, you know, okay, this was a last lower high that got broken, come back, retest, entry, get money. And I want you guys to back test it, like I've been saying throughout this whole trading camp. Like we're 10 days in, and now we're putting, we're putting pieces together to understand, like, okay, how do I capture these trades, or like, what am I looking for? So we talked about candlesticks, understanding what the candlesticks tell us yesterday, and then today we're looking for breaks and retests, so we can apply what we learned in the candlesticks when we see these breaks and retests. Like I said yesterday, I'm looking for certain type of patterns when I'm entering the market. So after I see a break and a retest, once I get that certain candlestick pattern, then I am looking to potentially enter my overall position, right? And like you can just back test this trend on trend on trend. And let me find an example where we have a trend line break and retest, because it's the same thing. Like I mentioned, you can either have a structure break and retest, or you can have a trend line break and retest, right? So here, this didn't give us a quite trend line break and retest. So let's see if we can find one that does give us a trend line break and retest. Something real smooth. And of course, I'm on a 1 minute time frame, so there's a lot going on. But let's see if this one gives us. Yep, so this one we got a trend line, price touching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, break, price broke above the trend line, came back to retest the trend line. That was the entry for the continuation. Now, even if you broke this down in structure, this was the last lower high point, but it just surpassed, it pulled back deeper, had a deeper retrace, pulled back to the trend line, and then continued on up, right? So what I want you guys to do for this, day 10, pretty much, I want you guys to go and back test, back test structure, back test trend lines, back test understanding where the market is actually going, and looking for breaks and retests. Literally, if you just look for trends, like this is the simplicity of it. If you just look for trends and look for the market to break and retest previous structure point or previous trend line, literally that's it, right? Now, of course, there are other factors that contribute to this, but this is just like the like the basics of it, right? So me just doing this whole trading camp, I want you guys to get familiar with my strategy and understand, like, it is this simple, but of course there are other confluences that you can use to make your win rate a little bit higher, so forth and so on. But of course, I'm here to get you guys results, and you can literally get results by just understanding breaks and retests and not complicating the market, right? So with that being said, I hope this video was super helpful for you guys. Make sure that y'all are back testing. Make sure that y'all actually taking the time to implement this. The ones that implement this will get results. The other ones that just watch this video are just going to not get results, right? So I will see you all in the next video. Let's get this money.